So as you are aware, antibiotic resistance is at all-time high in all parts of the world, which may develop from inappropriate use of antibiotics, which include overuse or suboptimal use of antimicrobials, often leading to high economic burden in the healthcare sector, whereby we find patients are staying for long in the hospitals, some infections which are resistant to antibiotics are coming up. So about the study, the study was questionnaire based, whereby farmers were interviewed. We interviewed 30 farmers, either keeping pigs, poultry, and cattle, using a pre-tested questionnaire on their knowledge, attitude, and practices on the use of antibiotics. The study was done in Gatondo North Sub-County, one of the 47 counties in Kenya. The major findings from our study is that majority of the farmers were mixed farmers, whereby you could find a farmer who's doing mixed farming, whereby one farmer could be keeping pigs, cattle, and chicken. But there were also other farmers who are keeping only one type of animals. And among the farmers, antibiotics was highly used, whereby only one farmer didn't use. We only found one farmer who was not using antibiotics. Among the pig farmers, antibiotics were not quite popular because they had low incidence of diseases in pigs. Majority of the farmers used antibiotics for treatment, though there are few cases whereby farmers use antibiotics as boosters and also for prophylaxis. So, as explained, we found 75% of the farmers who used antibiotics for treatment only. For treatment and growth promotion, it was 13.8%. 3.5% of farmers used antibiotics for treatment and prophylaxis, and 6.9% of farmers used antibiotics for treatment, prophylaxis, and growth promotion. Among the antibiotics, oxytetracycline was the most used, especially among the poultry farmers. In addition, other antimicrobials were used, such as aminoglycosides, penicillin, streptomycin, as shown below, whereby tetracycline was the mostly used at 73%, aminoglycoside at 63%, penicillin and streptomycin, especially among cattle farmers, at 30%, sulfonamides all the way to cotrimazole, which was least used. From our study, we found that the antimicrobials were easily accessible. There were agrovets all over. Most of the farmers obtained the antibiotics from the agrovets, but the agrovets were easily reachable, around about 10 to 15 minutes walking distance, and there were no restrictions on dispensing of the antibiotics. We also found that the stockists could give information on antibiotic usage, but farmers gave different doses of antibiotics, whereby we could find some farmers, if they've had a similar case initially, they'll keep the medicine, then when they see similar symptoms, they'll just use the medicine without consulting a veterinarian. 20% of the farmers understood the dangers of misuse of antibiotics. And interestingly, 93% of the farmers thought that antibiotics were an effective way of preventing diseases and maintaining animal diseases. And among all the farmers that we interviewed, there was no single farmer who kept records on antibiotic usage, meaning that they could not track how they were using antibiotics on their animals. When we interviewed the farmers on when they decide to treat their animals, only 55% use the antibiotics under a vet prescription. Other 37% could use antibiotics upon when they see the symptoms that they've seen before, or they could consult other farmers. If they've seen similar symptoms, they will use the antibiotics that they used previously. And around 6%, they would follow the vet prescription, but sometimes they would treat their animals when they see the symptoms that they think they know, or they've used antibiotics on them before and they were successful. 6 of the farmers, when we were interviewing them, we would also interview them on whether they used other means of treating their animals apart from using antibiotics. And interestingly, 6 of the farmers, they were using other alternatives to antibiotics, such as aloe vera, pepper milk, and super leaf liquid. So in conclusion, the study documents that there are knowledge gaps and negative practices carried out at the farm level which predispose to the occurrence of antimicrobial resistance. So farmers should be educated on the need to avoid using antimicrobials for growth promotion and for prophylaxis. Farmers should also be given information regarding antimicrobial resistance, and they should be equipped with knowledge and practices that reduce the risk of occurrence of the AMR. Farmers should also be encouraged to comply with the prescription, because as we found out that the stockists could give information, but the farmers were not strictly following the instructions. Thank you.